Welcome back to another episode of the Look Mum Hustling podcast. My name is Sarah and that is Drew.
That's me.
That is you. And just wanted to thank you again for tuning in and listening to our previous episodes. The previous one, we talked through about travel, sort of like how we saved costs and everything.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun sort of reminiscing and forgetting all the names of where we went to.
I know. We talked about like 5 or 6, even I think 7 cities we went to, and we blanked on I think 2 of them. So apologies if you want to go back and check out the video or the podcast audio versions of that. We have done a small itinerary.
We have, yeah, of just like the places that we've been, and just so we'll never forget ever again. We did have it all written down on our notes on our phones or where we went to and stuff like that, and we probably should have referred to them. Yeah, but we just forgot.
But we didn't.
No, but it was a lot of fun talking through. Yeah, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, we need to go on more travel adventures, I think.
I know. But yeah, today we're going to talk about the difference between a hoarder or a hustler.
A hoarder or a hustler?
Yeah, so do you collect, do you resell, all that kind of stuff. As a kid, did you collect anything like your childhood?
Didn't really collect anything. I mean, we had all the standard fun stuff growing up. Game Boys, probably the most fun and memorable toy or like gaming thing that I had growing up. So played a lot of that with like Pokemon and stuff, but didn't really collect much. I think it was due to the fact that having 3 kids in the family, obviously not every kid's going to get everything that they want. And yeah, we never really had any collectibles that I can think of. But the things that I did get, I cherished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was because I know you used to collect Star Wars figurines as well. You were like big into Star Wars.
Yeah. Well, we had some. Well, I had some, but we never really collected them. I was never really like, this is a catalog of 30 things and they're all awesome and you should try and get every one of them. It was just more of a, here's one for Christmas type of deal.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Did your parents or any family members, or did you have any like childhood friends that collected anything?
Not that I can really remember. Not someone that was like an adamant collector that was like on about it all day and looking for stuff all the time. Pokemon cards are really big right now. Sports cards are really big. We had a lot of those growing up. They were always available at like Granny Mays. Remember Granny Mays? Yeah. The best store in Australia growing up.
Yeah, you get like the engravings. They always have like the fun. They had like heaps of sports, just memorabilia in general.
You could get like keys engraved. You could get birthday cards. You could get whoopee cushions.
The kung fu fighting hamster thing.
Yeah, fart bombs, and then basketball cards as well. Shout out Granny Mays. I don't know if there's still any around or not, but
they're probably in like a Stocklands or a little shopping centre somewhere.
There's probably just one left hidden away somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're really popular again now. And yeah, we had them growing up, but it was never something that I considered a collection. It was more just like a passing fad. Well, I don't have any of them now. So I'm pretty sure my older brother and his friends probably swindled me out of my best cards and stuff back then, which could have been a collection, but it didn't turn out that way.
How dare he?
Yeah, how dare they?
Yeah.
What about you? Do you have any collections growing up? I know you got that mini suitcase thing full of like stamps and stuff.
I do, yeah. So when I was super, super young, for some reason I used to collect like random rocks and things and put them in. This is like
rocks.
Under like 10 years old. I know.
Like what kind of, like pebbles or
like pebbles, just like interesting looking rocks. And I just pop them in this little box and, just keep adding to it. I have no idea where that box is now.
The rock box?
The rock box,
yep.
Yeah. I used to collect like little bits of ribbon because my mum used to sew and she used to make all our own clothes and everything. So I had like a box of like cut off ribbons and materials and things like that, and I always try to like imitate like making things as well.
It sounds like a scrapbook almost.
Yeah, almost like a scrapbook type thing. What else? My older brother, like he collected Matchbox cars, that kind of thing. And then, as a kid, you'd always have like, or for me, I had a bunch of Barbie dolls and my brother was like Action Man, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I used to collect that as a kid. Young teens, not so much, I don't think. Yeah, it wasn't until I got into my young adult life that I was collecting CDs, DVDs, vinyls, unintentionally like band merch, so like stickers and badges. Sort of wish I had all that now, but I don't.
It just stacks up and starts building up in the top drawer.
Yeah, and I used to collect wind-up toys for a hot minute. Don't know what happened to all those. Yeah, just a lot of stuff in my early young 20s. And then I had a housemate that collected like Lego. Like she had so much Lego. I remember when we first started dating, you came over and you're like, what the hell?
It's a lot of Lego.
Yeah, it was a lot of Lego.
Yeah, I mean, I bought Lego in the past and done Batmobile ones and Star Wars ones, but it's not something I would collect. Definitely fun to do, but an expensive hobby. And I think a lot of the stuff comes down to how much money you have. Like I said, like having 3 kids, I imagine it'd be very hard to go and buy all of them everything they want every week. So there is that limitation, but we don't have any of the stuff that we had growing up. So I wonder if our parents still have anything or if they've just sold it all and just capitalized on our past childhood memories.
I think they would have done a couple of council pickups to like get rid of it all, maybe some op shop drop-offs. But yeah, like I still have, like you mentioned before, like the stamps that I used to have. I did collect, actually, I forgot, I used to collect coins for a little bit. I was a big nerd.
Well, that's what I don't get. Like the stamps and coins, do they hold any like sentimental value or is it purely just like I need to collect from 1 to 1,000 of these stamps?
I think because like my dad also collected stamps and it was just one of those, you know, the childhood things where you just want to sort of imitate your parents and sort of copy what they want to do.
Of course.
Yeah. But with the coins though, no one really in my family did. I used to collect like 50-cent coins and dollar coins.
50 cent?
Yeah, 50-cent coins because I had a whole bunch of...
The wrapper?
No, the actual fixed...
The currency 50 cent.
Yeah, the actual 50-cent coins. And then... One day I went to go look at it and all the dollar coins and 50 cents were gone. And then I found out my older brother bought something.
Cashed them in for the gumball machine or some Street Fighter rounds at the arcade.
Classic older sibling type thing to do. But yeah, never collected coins since then.
So, yeah, I've never really collected much until probably recently. We've been reselling for a couple of years now. And in the process, we're starting to collect more. Yeah, finding love for, I guess, new items that we never really had because we had all the CDs and all the DVDs and all that kind of stuff, Blu-rays, ended up culling back and minimalizing our home life and our lifestyles. I think we got rid of a whole bunch of books as well because we're big avid readers. So we just streamlined everything. And then we're like, when we started reselling, there were a lot of collectors within the reselling community and they were like, oh, what do you collect? We collect games, blah, blah, blah. And we're like, oh, not much actually. We didn't collect much. No, not when we first started anyway. But we definitely had fallen in love with it. Like the vintage clothing, it's something we never intended on getting into when we started reselling. It was just more of a flipping everyday thrifted items for some profit and then just building a business slowly. But then sooner or later, you're going to find some cool vintage stuff and do some research, and then one thing leads to another, and then you end up buying $300 shirts all of a sudden. I know. Really cool looking shirts, though. Well, we're big Star Trek fans. So that's something that we're collecting at the moment is not just Star Trek memorabilia, but mainly just the things that we can also use as well. So, like the shirts we're really loving. We've got Star Trek mugs, all that kind of stuff, which is a lot of fun. But also not only the teas, but you've also dabbled in trading cards as well. Yeah, definitely enjoying that. Ripping them open, just spending time sorting through things is kind of therapeutic. And then, comping things to see this card that I paid $10 for is now $50. Like, how cool to watch. Can I get more similar types of cards that I like and players that I like and hold them? And it's just a fun experience. Like we used to spend hours watching Netflix and just screwing around doing random things, but having a bit of a hobby and a goal with some sort of currency attached and value is fun for sure. I love it. No, it's so cool. And it's just, I guess, learning a new area as well. Because when you started to get into, if you can tell, I'm not much into sports or sports balls, as I like to call it. So you've always been a bit of a basketball fan. For those that are watching, you can see that he's wearing a Celtics jumper. Yeah. Okay, thanks. But you're starting to go through and like teaching me about the analytics of cards, how they can rise in value. And I started to realize, like with the cards and the teas, even though you're collecting, it's actually a form of investment.
as well. It grows in value, which is awesome. One example is you purchased or bought like Michael Jordan cards like a while back for they're like $50 or something like that.
Yeah, so I started buying basketball cards probably this time last year, early 2020. There's a lot of hype and stuff around the rookies at the time. There still is. But started buying random cards, and then there was the Michael Jordan Last Dance documentary coming out. I was like, yeah, obviously Michael Jordan is the GOAT of basketball.
100%.
His stock's only going to rise. We should buy a couple of PSA, which are graded cards that are in like a plastic slab. Basically, they grade them a certain rank between 1 and 10, and then you just know the quality of that card's never going to really change or diminish, so you know the actual value of that card. So we bought a couple of those. For those that are interested, we got 3 Fleer cards, not his rookie year, but we got 1990, 91, 92 Fleer. Sort of classic cards of the time, classic set. And yeah, just something fun to give a try. We paid $50 each for them. The cool thing is, recently the rookie card, so the first time Michael Jordan was printed on a Fleer card from 1986, went for auction for like $750,000. So 2 of them, so half of that, say 350, 400,000 US. They sold for. So the price of all the other Fleer cards has gone up. So yeah, we're not going to flip it anytime soon, but it's cool to see how fast the market can change.
Exactly.
So like the price has literally tripled in a week for us.
Yeah, that's amazing. And that's what we're talking about, like with that kind of thing. Like I don't mind, and as you know, I don't like spending a lot of money, but I don't mind spending money on that because it's actually a long-term investment. And if I think about that way, even though you have, as resellers, even though we have sort of money sitting there, I'm happy to sit on it because it's going to just continue to rise and rise and rise. And especially with someone like you said, Michael Jordan, who's a GOAT, I don't think he's ever going to diminish in value.
Yeah. And like those cards, could be $1,000 in 10 years. Like, you know, but in saying all this, obviously all this sort of stuff costs money. Collecting things, buying collectibles for future investment and stuff all costs money. And make sure if you're looking to get into anything like this, make sure it's disposable money that you're willing to lose, same as any sort of investment or stock. We're not financial advisors.
No.
We're very new to the whole collectible world and that sort of thing. So we're just telling our story, but yeah, definitely make sure it's money that you can afford to lose.
Exactly. Yeah, because even though we say Michael Jordan will never diminish in value, you might. You just don't know.
Anything could happen.
Yeah, it's all risk with those kind of things. Same with the teas that we're investing in. Because something could happen. They could go down in value.
Yeah, like everyone has been buying Marilyn Manson shirts for the longest time. They're crazy looking shirts, and then obviously there's some allegations and stuff that came out about him quite recently.
Yeah. And
the value of things can go down. So again, just be mindful that markets do change and you can never really beat the market. You just got to enjoy the process. So that's what we do. We buy things that we enjoy personally. And if they lose, they lose.
Yeah. But because we like it, we don't mind sitting on it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is a hoarder?
A hoarder. Yeah. So that is a big thing. So my idea of a hoarder is someone, because you've had like the 2 different versions. So you've got the hoarders that will be like, yes, I'm going to collect all this sort of stuff and resell it, but it just sits there. And then you've got the other ones that do have a bit of a psychological disorder as well, that they might, have that sort of happen in their home, sort of clutters and everything as well. But the hoarders that we're sort of talking about is the reselling hoarders.
Reselling hoarders.
Yeah.
Okay.
But a big thing that I know that does help for us is keeping everything stored and organized. That way we know exactly where everything is. So we don't have random piles sitting anywhere. Everything's all in spreadsheets. Everything's all logged. We know exactly where everything is, which I think is like a huge difference. Also storing it in cool, dry places. That's another huge thing. You see those shows and they've all got, moisture has gotten into it, mold, all that kind of thing, and all that money that you spent is just now gone, wasted. So the big thing is you've just got to store it properly. That way again, doesn't diminish in value. You've sort of got it holding there nice and safe. And yeah, you don't really have to worry about it. But that's sort of like my definition of like difference between like a hoarder and a reseller is just the way that you store it, the way that you look after it, logging it, keeping track of all your finances.
Makes sense. We actually have to do stock take soon.
We do, yeah. Just so I think we've got a couple of items that are missing. Yeah.
So that's a good chance for us to recalibrate the store and the business, to do like an 80-20 sort of analysis on the inventory, cull some old stuff. But that's a good way of clearing out some of those old items that I guess are hoarded. Like we haven't really made an effort of trying to get rid of them and stuff like that.
Yeah, we probably have a lot of older items that are, because we've been like going almost 2 years now, isn't it? Reselling.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we probably maybe have some items that are sitting there that are actually 2 years old. Hopefully not. But yeah, that's another way to sort of help you stop from hoarding is going through your inventory on a regular basis, whether it's, 6 months, a year. I guess it just depends on how much inventory you do have. But yeah, you could just go through, make sure you cull and maybe do a bit of a spring clean or do a stock take sale.
Like a Marie Kondo of your stock almost.
Yeah, yeah. Does it bring you joy or does it bring you money?
Will it bring you money? If it hasn't brought you money yet, why not? And can you get your cost of goods back?
Yeah, exactly.
Get rid of it.
Yeah, and if you did want to, I guess, spring clean some of that older stock, you can bundle it all up and sell it for, I guess, like the cost of goods, so you just break even. You can set up your own garage sale and just try and get rid of that. That way you don't have any fees because we love no fees. Yeah, little ways to sort of cull that stock that's sort of not moving. Yeah, that's another good one.
Or just redonate it, I guess, and then take the loss, write the stock off, and then clear some space for some better stock. So that's what we have to do. We have to clear some stuff. Now that we've learned so much, I'm sure there's some horrible items in there that we've bought. But a good chance to clear out some stock. We'll be able to pinpoint bad decisions we made, and then it's going to help our store. So definitely don't want to be a hoarder.
No,
want to be hustler.
Yeah. Well, because we've learned so much in the past 2 years, and the stuff that we used to pick up versus the stuff that we pick up now is heaps different. Like the quality that we pick up is a lot better. Just the brand names that we know. Yeah, because also, and the same thing is like stuff that 2 years ago used to sell might actually not actually sell now because the markets change and fashion changes and all that kind of stuff too.
Yep, got to keep that finger on the pulse.
You do. Keep it current and everything.
Cool.
Yeah.
So do we have a review this week?
We do. So it's more around, I guess, how we can, or the apps and the programs and stuff that we sort of use to help us keep organized, but also help us collect the items that we want to collect as well. So a couple of things. One that I know that you love for a review is the Gem app.
Gem app, yeah. So for those that don't know, there's an app called Gem. I'm pretty sure you can just type in gem.app into your browser or find it on your phone, obviously. It's just called Gem. It's a good website for finding vintage clothes in particular. And it's sort of not too technically advanced in terms of API and internet searches and stuff. But basically, it will do a search of multiple websites, so eBay and Etsy and basic websites for your search term, and then pull it all into one. So it essentially filters out all the rubbish and just gives you like vintage shirts, for example. So if I want a vintage Stone Cold Steve Austin shirt, I can just type in Stone Cold shirt or vintage Stone Cold or something, and it will give me heaps of results accumulated from eBay and Etsy and a bunch of other websites and storefronts, and then actually has the prices on there, so you can just scroll through as opposed to jumping across 3 different platforms or apps. So Gem app, definitely a great one.
Yeah, I know that one's, especially if it's like a specialized search term that you're looking for, so it's not very good broad. So just say if you are, like you said, looking for a Stone Cold shirt or Mighty Ducks or anything like that, it'll just come up with everything with that title containing. Because if you just search vintage tea, then it'll be like just too much coming up. So,
but the best thing about that, like I said, it searches websites. So if you had a website called sarahsvintagetees.com and you had Stone Cold shirt on there, it'll pull that listing into there from your website. So obviously times 100 websites.
Yep.
You've got a lot of data in one place. It's an app we found recently. I'm sure people that have been in the game for a lot longer than us already know about it. But yeah, Gem app, love it.
Yeah, no, that's so good. For another thing that sort of helps keep us organized and logging so we don't lose track of anything, it's super, super simple, but like the Google apps for sure. So whether it is Google Sheets, we use that quite a bit. It's a bit like Microsoft Excel, I guess you could say, but just free. Yeah, we like the free ones for sure. But yeah, we're able to do multiple spreadsheets on there. You're actually able to add people. So Drew's able to add me onto there so we can see it together. You can do your formulas or your pricing matches up. But yeah, it's just super handy for something like that, just to keep everything sort of organized.
I actually use it to track all my basketball cards as well.
Yeah, all your analytics?
Not that analytics, but more just date of purchase. And then once a month, I will do like an eBay search and just update the recent solds. Obviously, it can get a bit daunting if you have hundreds of cards, but there's probably about 20 or 30 higher end cards that I'm tracking. And yeah, even just using that to track the progress or what's the opposite of progress? Degress?
Degress, yeah.
Digress. The increase or decrease in price of the cards and just things like that. Easily to track in there, and then super simple to make a little chart and stuff like that. Obviously better than the paid version, the premium Microsoft Excel. Yeah. No one wants to pay for that. No one.
No, Microsoft Suite. Unless you're a uni student, then you can get that free through your educational stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, those are some of the main ones that we use for like comparisons. And obviously for other collecting, you've got your classic ones, which we use all the time, is like eBay, all that kind of stuff. eBay's great for cards. There's like a new card platform. We'll see how that goes.
There's a couple of new interesting plays in the card market for auctions and stuff. Another app I wanted to touch on was Trello.
Oh, yeah.
We use that quite frequently, not only for like collecting and stuff. So basically shirts we're looking for, we can have screenshots in there and just as a visual reference of things that we're looking for. Obviously you can keep them in a million places, but we use Trello for other things. So we just chuck everything in there. But yeah, Trello is great for organizing the podcast episodes and YouTube. Just planning everything out in general. But in terms of how it incorporates into our collecting and stuff, we have a list of in search of items and just a bit of data and stuff in Trello that we can manage between ourselves rather than sending 100 messages or trying to share an Apple Notes document with one another, stuff like that. So
super good. Yeah,
Trello,
and
Google Sheets, Gem. Yeah,
very, very good. Yeah, so those are some of the helpful ones that we use. And then obviously with our storage, you got, Big W for the tubs and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, super handy. But yeah, for us, we always want to be hustling. Never want to be hoarding. But we want to make sure that if we are hoarding stuff, that it's stored correctly and it doesn't lose its value.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So question to you guys, are you a hoarder or a hustler?
Yeah. Drop a comment.
Anywhere,
yeah, on all the platforms. I was like, how many platforms do we have? All of them.
Well, you can't drop a comment in Spotify or Apple Podcasts, but what you can do is you can leave a review.
Oh, yes.
And then you can comment in the review. That would be a unique way of getting our attention.
Definitely.
Otherwise, just comment on the YouTube video if you're watching over on YouTube. But that is it, I think, for this episode.
Yep, I think so.
Cool. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you're new, thank you for listening, obviously. You can follow us on social media. Look My Mum Hustling on Instagram.
Yep. On YouTube as well.
Yep.
And then we also have the It's Drew and Sarah on all the other platforms too.
You can find us everywhere. All right, thanks guys. We'll see you in the next episode 6 next time.
Oh wow, already up to episode 6. This is crazy.
Should do something special for episode 10, I think. We'll organize something. All right, we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.